Welcome to the Samurai Channel. We are all students who have been active for the past 3 years through social networking, street speeches, and signature campaigns. The channel is made up of teenagers and is made up of culturally diverse high school students, including Japanese, half European, and those who have studied abroad. The corruption of politicians in Japan today is glaringly obvious. The adults need to wake up and express their opinions clearly. But even if they realize, more than 70 years of misguided history may prevent decisive action. It is we, the youth, who are in this predicament. That is why we must learn together, speak out and take action, remember who is telling lies, remember why is false history being taught, remember who are the traitors. Remember understand what individuals and nations have done to our country. Let us know if there are any mistakes. We are ordinary high school students, but our leaders have been aware of Japan's shadow since junior high school and have taken action. Mission: Let's protect Japan, let's be proud of Japan. Support us. Arigatou gozaimasu. Here are the topics we chose this week. Number 1. Takaichi administration achieves landslide victory. In the House of Representatives election held on February 8, 2026, the Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, under the administration of Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi demonstrated a historically powerful mandate, securing a resounding victory and maintaining a solid single-party majority. In contrast, the Centrist Reform Alliance, a coalition formed by the former Constitutional Democratic Party and Komeido, suffered a devastating loss of seats. Several key races drew significant attention. Yashifo Arita managed to secure a seat through the proportional representation bloc. In Oita, Takashi Iwaya, who has faced criticism for allegedly prioritizing Chinese interests over those of the Japanese people, was re-elected. In Tsuchinami, the LDP's Hiroshi Mon returned to office for the first time in 4 years. Meanwhile, in the Tokyo 18th district, Reiko Matsushita, who famously sent shockwaves through the community with her proposal to grant municipal voting rights to foreign nationals after just 3 months of residency, was defeated by the LDP's Kaoru Fukuda. Online, reactions have been intense and deeply divided. Many users expressed bewilderment at the sudden surge of the Mirai party, with many comments stating, "I cannot understand how Mirai made such gains," and "I cannot trust them simply because they are backed by Heizo Takanaka." The mere mention of Takanaka's name appears to trigger visceral distrust among the public, with many citing concerns over his economic policies and his controversial legacy during the Koizumi administration. While the Takaichi administration now enjoys a period of stable dominance, the public's reaction remains polarized, and all eyes are on how the political landscape will shift following this historic election. Number 2. Destruction of bullying evidence in middle schools, outcry over school tablet confiscations. Reports are emerging that an increasing number of schools are confiscating student tablets during morning assemblies to scrutinize camera rolls, search histories, and even voice recordings. This is a blatant act of concealment aimed at destroying evidence of bullying. While victims desperately record proof of the violence they endure, teachers, fully aware of the situation, frequently turn a blind eye. Schools are meant to be sanctuaries for children, yet they appear to be siding with the perpetrators. This systemic betrayal is infuriating. If such a culture is spreading nationwide, victims will be driven into further isolation. The sheer depth of the darkness within the educational system is profoundly disheartening. Number 3. Chinese national arrested in Oita for serial sexual assaults on the elderly. A Chinese man in his 40s has been arrested for the 3rd time in Oita Prefecture for repeatedly committing sexual assaults in public restrooms, with victims including men in their 70s and 80s. These despicable serial crimes targeting the elderly are beyond belief. Simultaneously, following the announcement that Shikoku would begin accepting Tanzanian nationals, reports have surfaced of a Nepalese man assaulting a woman in her 20s. The risks associated with current immigration policies are becoming a grim reality. It is baffling that the government continues to push for increased immigration despite these escalating incidents. The safety of Japanese citizens must never be compromised. We strongly demand rigorous oversight and the immediate tightening of regulations. Number 4. Dissolution order for former Unification Church, Tokyo High Court decision expected by March 4. Regarding the request for a dissolution order against the former Unification Church, the Tokyo District Court acknowledged the massive damages caused by exorbitant donations, totaling approximately 204.8 billion yen and affecting over 1,500 victims, and ordered its dissolution. The church immediately appealed. The Tokyo High Court has concluded its closed-door hearings and is set to rule on the appeal on March 4. Should the High Court uphold the initial ruling, the church will immediately lose its status as a religious corporation and enter liquidation. The organization continues to hide behind religious freedom and uses stalled compensation negotiations as a shield to evade responsibility. Given that their late leader, Sun Myung-moon, once preached that Japan is an evil country and that the emperor should get on his knees, can this truly be called a religion? Furthermore, the support shown by conservative figures like Yoshiko Sakurai, the late Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, and Tomomi Inada is deeply problematic. Number 5. Filipino welfare recipient receives free university tuition, outcry over inequity. A Filipino woman residing in Japan on welfare has sparked controversy by proudly announcing that her 2 children's university tuition was fully waived, they received scholarships, and even their moving expenses were covered by the state. Her statement, "God is working for us," has fueled public anger. There are even allegations that a caseworker instructed her on techniques to hide income. It is perceived as a gross inequity that foreign nationals receive such lavish benefits funded by Japanese taxpayers while many Japanese citizens struggle to repay their own student loans. This system has become a hotbed for fraudulent claims. We strongly demand the abolition of welfare for foreign nationals and immediate legislative reform. Number 6. Why Sony is opting for Made in China, a move against the tide. While other Japanese firms are accelerating their exit from China, Sony announced in 2026 that it will transfer its television business to a joint venture with the Chinese giant TCL. With TCL holding a 51% majority stake, it will effectively take the lead in operations. Although the Bravia brand name will be retained, the core of development, manufacturing, and sales will be entrusted to Chinese capital, making the product made in China in all but name. Sony cites cost competitiveness and a stable supply of display panels as primary reasons. However, with China risk at an all-time high, many are left wondering why Sony is moving in the opposite direction of its peers. The decision has sparked such intense public indignation, being viewed as an affront to national pride, that some have even questioned the president's national identity. Handing over Japan's hard-won technology and branding to China is seen by many as a staggering betrayal, and a growing boycott movement appears inevitable. Number 7. Backlash against Nikioso, allegations of fabricated atrocities in Okinawa war play. At the Nikioso Educational Research Conference held on January 24, 2026, peace play performed by junior high school students drew fierce criticism online. The play featured brutal depictions of Japanese soldiers committing atrocities against residents, including mothers and infants, during the Battle of Okinawa. This has ignited a firestorm of protest, with critics labeling it anti-Japanese propaganda and a self-deprecating view of history, while demanding that children not be used as political tools. Journalist Miki Utaka and scholar Satoru Nakamura have pointed out in their works that such narratives are often exaggerated or fabricated, distorting the overall reality of the Battle of Okinawa. Historically, Okinawa was spared from famine during the Meiji era through food aid sent by imperial decree from Emperor Meiji. Furthermore, in the final stages of World War II, the brave sorties of the Special Attack Unit served as a shield to protect the mainland. Critics argue that peace education should not ignore these hidden truths in favor of a biased narrative that only emphasizes the alleged evils of the Japanese military. Number 8. Raising our voices through letters and donations following the discovery of a joint venture. Widespread anxiety is spreading among the residents of Kasasa Island in Kagoshima Prefecture following the revelation that a local real estate agent has established a joint venture with Chinese capital. This island is a remote treasure, cherished for its breathtaking natural beauty and serene way of life. However, should large-scale land acquisition and development by foreign interests proceed, there is a grave risk that the traditional living environment will be dismantled and the safety and peace of mind of the local community will be compromised. To protect the future of this island, we are calling on every Japanese citizen to join us in writing a heartfelt letter. Let us express the profound importance of Kasasa and reach out to politicians and influential wealthy individuals with warm messages requesting their support and donations, even if success seems like a daunting challenge. We firmly believe that by uniting our voices, we can generate a powerful force to safeguard the future of this precious island. Number 9. disciplinary action against naturalized lawyer Yasunori Sakurai, the muscle lawyer. Lawyer Yasunori Sakurai, popularly known as the muscle lawyer, has reportedly received a reprimand, the lightest form of disciplinary sanction, from the Japan Federation of Bar Associations. This is equivalent to a formal oral warning. The background of this case involves Sakurai's past conduct, particularly his background as a naturalized citizen of Korean descent. During a talk with Yusuke Kawai and other public appearances last year, Sakurai faced severe backlash for derogatory remarks about Japanese people, suspicious false accusations, and statements favoring foreign nationals. His comments, such as, "I don't care if the Japanese people disappear," and claiming he came to Japan to protect the children of foreigners, have called into question his fitness to practice law. The official reason for the sanction cites false accusations and violations of professional ethics. While some media have framed this as the downfall of a naturalized lawyer who insulted Japan, this incident has also highlighted the fact that many Japanese remain unaware that naturalized citizens can hold influential positions as politicians or lawyers. Number 10. The Epstein scandal, Bill and Hillary Clinton named as Japanese media remained silent. In the United States, the Epstein files have caused a massive political uproar. The names of former President Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton appear multiple times throughout the documents. The latest release on January 30, 2026, comprising over 3 million pages, has reignited scrutiny over the Clintons' past ties to Epstein, including flight logs, photographs, and emails. While the couple eventually agreed to testify before the House Oversight Committee, the process has been fraught with tension, nearly leading to a contempt of Congress resolution. The documents contain numerous mentions of inappropriate allegations. Curiously, despite the international magnitude of this scandal, major Japanese media outlets have remained almost entirely silent. There is an urgent call for the domestic press to cover this more actively and fulfill their duty to inform the public of the facts.
This week's Kensho Please, magazine that disparages Japan, AERA Josei Jishin Presidents, sees your attacks. Magazines such as AERA Josei Jishin and Presidents have frequently published articles regarding the imperial family that aggressively promote arguments for female or matrilineal succession. In doing so, they often adopt a critical stance toward Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi's conservative commitment to maintaining the traditional male line succession. For instance, AERA has featured expectations for an Empress Aiko while persistently focusing its narrative on disparaging Prime Minister Takaichi's opposition to matrilineal changes. In Josei Jishin, Akihiro Takamori is a constant presence, repeatedly asserting that a Takaichi administration would block the path to a female emperor and claiming that the proposal to prioritize adoption from former imperial branches is unrealistic. It is baffling that such an individual who displays a profound lack of historical understanding remains a member of the Japanese Society for History textbook reform. This explains why even after 20 years, the group has failed to produce any meaningful results and exists solely as an entity that collects 20 million yen in annual donations. Press and Magazine has similarly contributed to this narrative, suggesting that a Takaichi government might paradoxically accelerate the move toward a female emperor, a tone that clearly downplays the gravity of the patrilineal traditions. The imperial house is a miraculous institution, a living miracle that has been preserved through an unbroken lineage sharing the same DNA for a generation. Male line succession is not merely a choice, it is the natural, self-evident, and bedrock of our history. By ignoring the fundamental essence of the monarchy, these magazines are engaging in an act that disparages Japan itself. This biased reporting must stop.
This week's textbook. This week, we bring you a summary based on the work The Truth About Okinawa by journalist Satoru Nakamura. Is Okinawan culture heavily influenced by China? Part 2. Likewise, for every Japanese citizen, the history of the Ryukyu Kingdom is simply the history of one region within our shared nation. Let's take action this week. This week's Let's Take Action is to raise our voices to Professor Singgi Tri-Sulistiono of Diponegoro University in Indonesia. Professor Singgi Tri-Sulistiono has expressed his support for reclassifying the historical terminology of the Japanese military administration period, 1942 to 1945, from occupation to colonial rule. He asserts that, even though the rulers changed from the West to Asia, the essence of conquest, coercion, and violence experienced by the people remained unchanged. He argues that this shift encourages a reconsideration of history from the perspective of the oppressed, aligning with President Prabowo's historical view that independence was not granted out of goodwill, but was born from the experience of injustice. However, we find this proposed change strongly unacceptable. During the Japanese military administration, Lieutenant General Hitoshi Imamura, Commander-in-Chief of the Dutch East Indies Campaign, immediately released independence movement leaders such as Sukarno and Hatta, and implemented a lenient administration that respected Islam and local customs. Japanese instructors from the Sanyakai, 3-1 Club, and the PETA, Homeland Defense Volunteers, provided vital support to the independence movement and trained the core of what would later become the Indonesian National Armed Forces, TNI. Indeed, former President Suharto himself was a graduate of PETA. Furthermore, approximately 2,000 to 3,000 Japanese soldiers remained in Indonesia after the war, with roughly 1,000 of them actively participating in the Indonesian National Revolution. Research by the Welfare Friends Association and scholar Eiichi Hayashi indicates that about half of them, approximately 500 to 600, died in battle. At the Kalibata Heroes Cemetery, 28 of these former Japanese soldiers are officially enshrined as Heroes of Indonesian Independence. On June 20, 2023, Their Majesties the Emperor and Empress of Japan offered flowers at this very cemetery. In contrast, while the Monument of Remembrance in Semarang commemorates the victims of the Semarang Incident, October 1945, local newspapers have reported persistent maintenance issues, including ground subsidence and flooding. We believe that changing the terminology while ignoring these Japanese contributions and sacrifices lacks historical fairness and balance. Our strongest recommendation for those wishing to learn more is Professor Masanori Mizuma's book, The Japanese Spirit of the Asian Liberation Era, Understood at a Glance. This book is written so clearly that even elementary school children can grasp the truth. Since these facts are not taught in schools, we believe it is essential for individuals to study them independently and raise their voices, for the sake of the honor of our predecessors.